Everybody, it's Casey hanging out with you on another Wednesday right here on Penn's Peak Radio, the wall-to-wall country show where it's nothing but country, hanging out with you and playing all the best country, whether it's classic country from some of your favorite artists from days gone by all the way up to the new, and not only a lot of American artists, but we span the globe too. I have the opportunity to speak to some artists who are not necessarily USA born, but doing quite well in the country music industry, and today is one of those examples. We've got a great band on board. The lead singer is with us this afternoon, Canadian country group from Ontario, Canada. Got a brand new album out, been nominated for some unique awards, even walked away with one. We're going to talk more about his music and everything that this guy has going on with him and his friends, Mr. James Barker and the James Barker Band. Hey, James, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
It is going awesome, at least here in the States. How's it up there in Canada?
It's hot. It's good and hot, so it feels like summertime.
Awesome. Well, you guys are on fire, speaking of summer. But before we get to all of that, I'd appreciate it if you gave us a little bit of a background on how this whole thing and this concept of you guys getting together came about. And then we'll jump a little bit forward into the new music that you have out there and let everybody hear some of it because it's really awesome. I mean, I love your sound. I love what you guys got going on. But give us a little history, James, about how it all got started with you and your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. We, we're all same as everybody else in the industry. We've been playing pretty much our whole lives. Started out kind of playing in high school or elementary school, and Connor and I, or our drummer, we met actually at a band camp. Yeah, the stories are true. Band camp, and we met there and instantly clicked. That was when we were about 16. Started playing it. We've basically been playing together since then. And basically met the other two band members just from gigging around and playing all over kind of Ontario. We were, playing the bars and that kind of thing, and fairs and festivals and weddings and Jack and Jill's and everything under the moon. So that's kind of how we met, and we continued to do that as a group for 4 years before we really started getting some success at radio and that kind of thing. Just kind of honed our chops playing the bar circuits. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've done a fine job. I mean, I gotta say, I've enjoyed the music that I've been listening to. You guys apparently have, paid your dues out there, doing all those festivals and things, that you got to do to get better and get fine-tuned with all of you guys, especially when you're adding new members. If you and Connor were doing good and then you add another member and then you add another member, everybody's got to kind of get on the same page. Was that a little bit of a challenge? Did you guys just mesh right from the get-go?
It's funny. It was one of those things where it just kind of clicked right away, which I think is a good sign in any sort of relationship. It's like if you get along right off the bat, that's probably a good thing. Those things shouldn't take a lot of work, because chances are if you don't get along at the front, you're not going to get along at the end either. So
Yeah. Because then once you get into the whole touring and spending that much time together, it's truly a relationship then probably can get on each other's nerves at times. But as long as you guys can keep it straight and forward, and obviously you guys are doing something right. You're a very young band, and to have, an EP out there that's very successful already, you guys are, I don't know what it is, but you're doing something right for sure.
Yeah, we're super blessed to kind of be where we are. We're just, honestly, we're just having fun, and that's kind of been our motto right from the front. None of us started playing music because we thought we were going to get rich or famous. We just started playing music because we love playing music, and we started being a band because we love hanging out with each other. So, we just keep doing what we love and keep having fun, and people seem to latch on to that. And so we're just super happy to be where we are. That's
awesome. It's kind of funny because in your music, it doesn't sound like you have an accent, but when you talk, you you definitely have a little bit of an accent going on there. It's kind of funny how it doesn't come through on the music.
No, I guess they say that sometimes when people sing, they lose the accent or whatever it is. I guess that's what it is, which is weird because I never even thought about that before. But I try to refrain from saying "a" all the time. That's something I always get whenever I'm in Nashville. They pick it up and I won't even know I've said it, and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I said it again." Yeah,
it's you've definitely got a little something going on there, which is fun. That's who you are. It's part of your charm, but you don't hear it in your music, which is really interesting. Now, you've had a banner year this year already in 2017. Was the awards, the CMAO awards this year when you guys had all the nominations and the one win?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. That was a crazy night. We had the opportunity to perform there too, so like your head's kind of in a different place because you're thinking, oh, you got to get ready and sound check and all that. And then when we got announced for the award, it was just a crazy experience because like we haven't really won awards for so long. Like I said, we've been doing the bar thing, and you just kind of get used to taking the short end of the stick, per se. Mm-hmm. So to go there and actually be kind of recognized for something we've done was pretty amazing.
Now, you won Fans' Choice for the James Barker Band, and you also were nominated for the Group or Duo of the Year for that. And Lawn Chair Lazy was the single and the music video were both nominated.
Yeah, they were super nice with nominating us for those categories, and like it's crazy because we were up against people that we've been fans of for our whole lives, and so like there's a little moment there where you're like, there's no way we could win this or win the Fans' Choice Award. Like these people that we've been following, they're amazing. Like we're just normal musicians. These guys are, it's just a weird thing to finally be categorized with those people.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you're doing something right. People are loving it. And I think one of the things is your music seems to be, at least the songs that I've listened to so far, and I don't know if the whole EP is like it, but they're upbeat, they're good tapping songs, they're songs that people want to learn the words to, and I'm sure when you're playing some of these out there in a live audience, the crowd's up off their feet, and they're giving back just as much as you're giving when it comes to some of these songs that we're going to talk about. I mean, Lawn Chair, Lazy, and Just Saying. I love that. I love that saying to begin with. I tend to say it a lot. My husband busts my butt. He's like, "What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying?" And I'm like, "I'm just saying," So, the music is great, and and that's one of the things that speaks to people. I mean, there are songs that you want them to hear the words and you want them to relate to it and stuff, and then there are songs that you just want people to have a good time with. And I think that's where some of your stuff comes from. Now, are you guys the writers and the authors to these tunes here?
Yeah, I write all the stuff that we release and record and all that stuff, so I think that's kind of something that's always been near and dear to me. I kind of started out as a writer before I really started doing the artist thing. Like I was 18 when I first started going to Nashville, like religiously. And I'm 25 now, so I guess, oh man, that's been 7 years. That's a long freaking time. But basically started doing that, and it wasn't until, like I was playing in bands and stuff, but my goal was always just to be a songwriter. I love Nashville, and my dream since I was a kid was just to go and live down there and just write music for a living. So I think that really helps because then when we go to do the band thing, a lot of people are going looking for outside songs or outside writers and that kind of thing. We don't really have to do that. We have the privilege of kind of being able to record all our own material.
So with that said, James, is still your first passion writing, or is it half and half, or is it swaying a little bit now towards performing? If you had to give up one or the other, would you shift back to writing?
That's a hard call. Like, and it's weird for me because then, like, when I was first out of high school too, like I was just a guitar player in a lot of bands. I wasn't the singer. I just did like lead guitar stuff, and so I was doing kind of the guitar player and writing thing. So all three, being a musician, being a performer, and then being a songwriter have kind of a near and dear spot in my heart. But I do think that the songwriting, it definitely is my favorite because it's kind of where it all begins. Mm-hmm. It's the most creative aspect of it, where you get to come up with new ideas and do that. The performing's awesome, but it's like you play the same songs every night. The good thing about performing is it's a different crowd every night getting excited about the song. Mm-hmm. But writing is you sit down and you never know what kind of song you're going to write or how it's going to turn out, or you could write a hit and it could be a fast song or a slow song, or you never know. You know what I mean? It's just a really organic kind of thing that happens with songwriting.
Well, then, okay, so then let me ask you this. I know you're writing a lot of the music that you guys are performing and you're putting on your EP and stuff, but is there songs that you're out writing and then you're pitching to other bands, or you're pitching down in Nashville to other artists?
Yeah, there is. We've got a couple songs that I've written that are getting recorded by just Canadian artists up here, and then we had a song I had written a few years ago now, and I was on hold for Blake Shelton's record there, and I guess he actually did like a vocal take and everything on it, and then it didn't make the final cut. But that's definitely something that I aspire to, is trying to get, cuts from outside artists as well, because like we have our songs that suit for us, but sometimes, they might be great songs, but they don't make sense for a band or make sense for the kind of music we do. So always kind of pitching around other artists and that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And, I think being a little bit more versatile, you have a lot of these artists that come up, and then I'm not ditching on some of these shows, but, they want to get on stage and they want to perform in front of these judges, and all they really want to do is sing. That's just what they want to do. And, if they're a great singer, that's awesome. But I think in any career, if you're versatile in that career and able to do and master other feathers in a cap, so to speak, you can sell yourself a little bit more and get out there more and meet different people, which is going to open up other avenues rather than just saying, I just want to be a singer and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, like you said, it's fine. There's some people who just, they're really passionate about singing and that's all they want to do. But I think especially in country music, it's one of those things where the writing is, more important in this genre than it is in any other genre. Do you know what I mean? Like the lyrics and everything they actually, I don't want to rag on anything else too, but they matter so much in country music, whereas they don't in a lot of other genres. And I think that makes it even more important to try and at least, most people try and write, and if you're feeling something, write it down or come up with ideas and that kind of thing. It's just it's different in country music.
Yeah, and I think the competition is a little thicker. It seems like everybody wants to get involved with country music these days. That seems to be the genre that everybody wants to have at least a toe in the pond. You know what I mean? I mean, at least here in America, you have the Steven Tylers touching on it. You have the Cyndi Lauper sticking their toe in the pond. You've got Justin Timberlake stipping his. You know what I mean? It's like everybody wants to have a little bit of that thing, that action, that little bit of, oh well, I do country too, or I'm a country artist. And I think it makes it, you go down to Nashville and there's 1,000 kids sitting on the streets with their guitars trying to make it. So you have to have the it factor that they talk about, or you have to have something else that's going to set you above and beyond to get recognized in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. And you're so right. Everybody trying to dip their toe in, and it's like, a part of a lot of people in the industry, I think, is probably like, it's great. We want to have all these people in here, and if they love country music and they like the music we liked, and let everybody be involved. But another part of it's like, well, we're kind of country before country was cool.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It definitely is a certain musical style and personality that goes along with it.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a great sound too. So speaking of that sound, let's get to it a little bit here. Now, you guys just are ecstatic to have released your first EP out there just this past April. It's a little something called Game On. And how many songs are on that?
There is, that's a good question. There is 6 songs, but there are 7 tracks because one of them is just like an acoustic version of another song.
Okay. Now, is this in hard copy for James? Can people get their paws on it on a hard copy, or do they just go on the electronic media platform and get it that way?
It's on all the online stuff, on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff. But there are physical copies too. You can buy them online, like they're online. I'm pretty sure they're on Amazon. They're on our website and all that stuff too. Okay, so they can get their hands on a hard copy. I expect you have them at your shows. Maybe people can get a signature copy, something like that. Oh yeah, every show we do, we make sure that we stick around until we can pretty much get every single fan, and we make sure they get stuff signed.
Okay.
Because they'll skin off our back to do that stuff, so we love doing that.
So tell me a little bit about Game On. I know there's a couple songs out there. You've got the single that you have out right now, a little something called Chills. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Chills is it's actually one of the more emotional and kind of deeper songs that are on the album. Like you said, most stuff is fairly upbeat and kind of happy stuff, and I think that's partly due to the fact that we have a fairly high energy and upbeat show that we put on, and we always try to be kind of entertaining that way. But Chills is a deeper song, and we wrote it with a good friend of mine, Donovan Woods, if you know that name. I don't know if you've heard that I Never Leave a Nashville song. He's the writer on that. He's written a bunch of stuff like that. But it was one of those songs where, like, he's a writer who writes a little more deep emotional stuff than a lot of the writers that I work with. And so we sat down and we wanted to write something that just had that cool, dark vibe to it. And that song, it just kind of came out. It was a one-sitting thing. Like most of the songs we do are 2 or 3 sittings. We kind of take our time with them. Well, that one was, 3 hours, banged it out, and it was pretty much, signed, sealed, delivered, and that was it. It's pretty much stayed the same to that point, and we were super lucky. It got recorded, and the recording of it turned out amazing when we did everything on it. It kept that kind of dark vibe and emotional feel to it. And it actually just went #1 in Canada 2 weeks ago, which is a pretty cool feeling to have.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, and, I guess the thing is, you turn on the radio and there's your song. I mean, that's just got to give you goosebumps, and it's got to maybe be a little reality check too. It's like, wow, you guys are in it. You're in it now, when it's getting out there and people are wanting to hear it and they're listening to it and it's getting out there and you're getting good reviews on it. It's like a little reality check. Hey guys, you're like the name of your album. It's game on now. Let's get her done. You know what I mean?
Get her done. That's exactly it.
So Chills is the first cut, and that's your single out there. And what I think I'd like to do is go ahead and play that song. 2 other songs I want to talk a little bit about that are also off the Game On album, and I also want to talk a little bit more about accessibility to you guys too in just a little bit. But we have to take a little bit of a break, so I was hoping, James, can you hang in there for just a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be back in just a bit with the single that is off the James Barker Band's EP. It's a little something called Game On. 6 cuts are on it. And this is one that is doing really, really well for these guys. It's called Chills. I want you guys to give it a listen. We'll be back in just a minute right here on Penn's Peak Radio on Wall to Wall Country with the James Barker Band and a brand new song out from these guys right after this. And we're back with James Barker of the James Barker Band, a Canadian group doing some really, really good stuff. Just released an album this past April, a little something called Game On. And that right there, that's a good one. You're right. It's got a little different flair, a little different feeling than some of the other songs that are on there, but that is the one that's climbing the charts and holding steady for you. A little something called Chills. Ooh, it gave me chills.
Yeah. Well, stop. No, we've been super lucky with the response to that one. You never know when you record a new song or when you release a new song to radio how people will interpret it, or especially with that, like I said, it's a little darker and more emotional.
Yeah.
Kind of a risk taking that because, people want upbeat, happy stuff for the most part, but people really latched onto that. So we're very lucky dudes to have had that song perform the way it has.
Well, and it's the connectivity. You got the happy songs and the beer drinking songs and the wiggle the butts and the, toasting and, and having a party song. But I think all artists also need to be able to reach deep and may it be dark, it's dark, or whatever the case may be. But if it comes from the soul and it comes from the heart and people can listen to it and really, really relate, those songs I think are sometimes even a little bit more special because are you finding anybody's coming back at you and going, dude, man, you nailed it. You nailed it. That's my life, or that's me, or I feel that way. Or are you getting any kind of response to Chills?
Yeah, the response to Chills has been amazing. Like, especially, like, we have the privilege now in 2017 of being able to see everything that everybody's thinking at all times.
Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent?
Yeah, I was going to say it's a privilege and a curse. But, we got more mentions and response out of Chills when it first came out, just because people saying, I love this song, and just they can relate to it. And it's funny, instead of having beer drinking songs and playing in bars for so long, where we were doing mostly covers and, beer drinking music, when we first started doing our shows and playing Chills after it had been on the radio, you can see, all the couples kind of snuggle in a little closer when we start playing that one. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Oh, that's awesome. And congratulations. And I hope it continues to give you that response that you like. So that's one of the songs. Now, what cut is that one on the EP?
That's the third track on there, and it was our third release to radio up here. So
awesome. So let's talk about the other side of the coin for you guys now when you're talking about the happy beer drinking, whatever songs. The second one that I really like, I've listened to it a couple of times now, and I watched the video, and it's just really great. You guys have really good videos on some of these, I gotta say. I don't how you're coming about getting some of these videos done, but they're very nice quality and they're really good. They're really good. You guys got to check. And are all the videos on your website?
Yep. Yeah, you can link to it all on. I think there's like a whatever they call like a Vivo channel or YouTube.
Yeah. Lawn chair lazy. I mean, just coming off a holiday a couple weeks ago of 4th of July, and getting it really into the summer now. And I don't know. I mean, that describes a perfect summer day. Lawn chair lazy. Tell us a little bit about that tune.
That was actually our first release to Canadian Country Radio. It was kind of our first dip in the pond, you might say. And it's honestly, we just sat down when we were going to write that. We had this kind of bass riff, me and the other two guys that I write pretty much everything with, and we kind of just built it around that. We had this little bump, sound, that little bass riff, and we said that's the Scream Summertime. And we were just kind of shooting lyrics back and forth, like usually happens, trying to kind of come up with a good idea or good hook to work around. And one of the guys just said like something beer, and we all kind of laughed. I said, "You can't write a song that says beer in it. Like, how are you going to rhyme with that? Oh, you have to rhyme everything 3 times then." And then we started working on it, and we're like, honestly, man, it's not supposed to be groundbreaking literature or something like that. This is supposed to be a song like if you're sitting out there with your buddies in the backyard drinking a beer, you want it on in the background because it's just talking about exactly what you're doing. And that's really how we built it. We specifically said in the writing of that song that we didn't want. You hear a lot of songs that are like the craziest party ever, or like that movie Project X, like it's just like chaos and this big party. It's like, no, man, it's like 3 or 4 buddies in the backyard listening to the game on the AM radio, just drinking some beer.
Yeah,
so, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah. But I think that I got it. Now you're getting response from that in a live crowd when you're doing that one. They're singing along, right? They got to be.
Oh, the crowd goes nuts for that. The crowd always loses their mind for that one. You can hear them singing over us half the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I got to say, I mean, I'm sure that's just like you said, that's a good, fun time summer song. Forget your worries, grab a beer, and just scream at the top of your lungs, whether you can sing or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can yell that one and it'll still sound half decent. You don't have to be a great singer for that one.
I loved it. I loved it when I heard that one. That's one of the ones that really kind of caught my attention. And it really just, I mean, I know people are going to love it. And I know, if we can get that thing down here in the States, people down here are going to love it as well, because it's just one of those songs. I mean, it's going to burn hot and heavy for a while, especially during the summertime. You may come out with it in January and maybe not so much, but you guys are getting this music out there and the perfect timing here. So that's definitely a cool thing. Tell me a little something, James. Now, are you guys all on the social medias that people can respond if they hear that and they're like, yeah, we love it, rock on, beer. I mean, is it you guys that are managing your social medias?
Yeah, we're all over the interwebs. We actually try really hard. Like, we have all the band accounts, but we also have all our own personal accounts too. So we're pretty good at responding, relatively fast, unless we're doing something like sleeping or whatever. But we try to make sure that we respond to everything on, especially like Twitter's the best one because it's like a direct link. But Instagram too, if people comment on our photos and stuff, we always try to make sure that we interact and get back to them, because that's one thing for us that's always been really cool is like, a few years ago we tweeted at like Old Dominion and they replied, and it was like a huge deal for us. And it's like, you know what? That was so cool, and it probably took them 2 seconds. So if we can do that for like every single person who reaches out to us, then that's all that matters, especially if they appreciate our music. So if they like something or they don't like something, we take all kinds of feedback. Just hit us up on social media.
Awesome. And of course we can people can check out, where you're at and all that kind of stuff on your webpage, it's just James Barker Band, right?
Yep, jamesbarkerband.com, and everything is just like at James Barker Band.
That's right, and you can check these guys out. Watch the videos. I mean, their videos are pretty darn amazing. I've watched a couple of them. You can see where you're at. I noticed your tours a lot in Canada. Are you planning on heading into the lower states here at some point?
Yeah, the plan is to start kind of heading down there. The summer, we summers they book up so fast, and so we kind of got not stuck up here, but just had a lot to do kind of in our homeland. But we've got some stuff kind of from September on, we're going to be heading further and further south. So.
Well, if you're coming through PA, like right down straight from Niagara Falls, make sure you check in with us because we're right here. We're
close too. So
we're on the east side, right smack dab in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. So we'd love to see you. Love you, have you swing by. All my artists are always welcome to stop by the studio and say hi if you have the opportunity. I know you're busy, and I know you got to cut you loose, but one last thing I want to cover with you real quickly is at the end of the show, we record this whole thing, and we're going to play it back again on Sunday if anybody missed the interview today. And we usually like to close out the show with another tune. Just recently watched the video for this one. Kind of a cross between the first two. It's kind of a little bit of a love story, but it's got a fun beat to it, a little something called Just Sayin'. You want to expand on that one just a bit?
Yeah, it's funny. Like the first interview we did for Just Saying, when we kind of talked about it, I dropped the word flirtatious.
Uh-huh.
Now, like every time we talk about it, it's like, yeah, this song is like, it's kind of like Chills, but a little more flirtatious. So that's kind of the idea behind it. But yeah, it's just a fun song. Like this was one of my favorite ones on the album personally, just because it's the beat of it and the sound of it is so like fun and catchy and like hooky.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to play live. But like you said, it's just a fun kind of bar story that you hear in so many country songs. And yeah, the video's kind of goofy. We had a lot of fun in that video. So if anybody has the opportunity to go and check that out, there's a couple of I think they're called cameos or whatever in that one.
Yeah.
With us in alternative outfits. So.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. It was very kind of simple. You know what I mean? It wasn't out there. You know what I mean? You left the song do what it needed to do, and you didn't confuse it with the video. And I think that's awesome. I think videos sometimes get too much where it gets confusing in the song, and it's almost like overstimulant. I love the car that just comes in and it's sitting in the black room and the girl with the flower. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. No. Keep it simple, yeah.
Simple, but, you got the song. You got it. Exactly. It was awesome. Well, listen, James, before I cut you loose, is there anything else you want to throw out there? You got a wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the listening audience of what's new and upcoming and where they can find you and what you guys are going to have going on this summer or in the near future that you want to tell them about?
Basically, just stay on our social media. Like, we do a lot of goofy stuff. We've really taken advantage of the Instagram Live thing, because then we can do, like, 30-second videos, and it's like, you got to see it now or you miss out on it. Okay. So just throw us a follow on all of that stuff, and that's pretty much it, And like I said, if you have any feedback, if you want to get in touch, just shoot us a tweet or a comment or something like that, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I feel like I'm like an automated messaging system. But yeah, just get at us on the social media.
All right. Well, you'll be seeing that we'll be re-airing this on Sunday on the Facebook and my personal Twitter page and stuff. So stay connected, my friend. And again, if you ever find your way heading south into Pennsylvania here, you just stay in touch, and we'd love to have you in the studio. But looking forward to seeing you in the States sometime soon, Mr. Burker.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time.
All right. Take care, and keep up the good music, man. You guys are doing great.
Thanks so much.